Make your next move with American Express Business Platinum. You'll get 5 times membership rewards points on flights and prepaid hotels booked on AmexTravel.com. Plus, enjoy access to the American Express Global Lounge Collection. And with the welcome offer of 150,000 points, your business can soar to all new heights. Terms apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business-platinum. Amex Business Platinum, built for business by American Express.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. From your morning podcast to your afternoon playlist, State Farm knows you personalize your entire day. And that's why State Farm helps you personalize your insurance with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. It offers coverage options that help protect what you care about most at an affordable price just for you. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
This is the plaintiff, Crystal Doherty. She says her new upstairs neighbors treat their place like a bowling alley. The noise they create's unbearable, and it goes on all night long. The woman intentionally yells and screams, and she's had to call the cops on her multiple times. The tenants who rented her place moved out due to all the disturbances. She's lost out on 5 months' rent and is suing this kooky couple for the $5,000. She's now out. These are the defendants, Irina and Thomas Mahoney. Thomas says his wife uses the condo from time to time, and the plaintiff has complained about things like hearing the water running. Well, when you turn the water on in a building, the water runs through the pipes and it makes noise. The plaintiff is suing them because her tenants moved out? That's not their problem. They won't be bullied by this power-hungry woman, and they refuse to pay her a dime. They're accused of making a ruckus.
All parties, please ready.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Millian in our forum, the People's Court.
You see to come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Crystal Doherty?
Yes.
You are suing Irina Mahoney and Thomas Mahoney? Okay, for $5,000 and loss of rental income because according to you, your upstairs neighbors made it impossible for anyone to live in your condo. What's going on? Talk to me.
So I have lived in the condo myself for many years, starting in about 2015. Very loud noises would wake me up frequently at night, and even the evening hours were sometimes very unbearable.
What kind of noises?
It sounded like lots of screaming, stomping noises. It was just very loud. I have videos of a wine glass on a table that when she stomps, the wine actually moves in the glass.
Okay, did you ever go up there to see what was going on or call the police or anything else?
Yes. I went on the upstairs, knocked on her door on multiple occasions. She would not respond, and she would still be screaming in the apartment the whole time.
While you're knocking?
Yes.
Okay, did you ever call the police?
I did.
Or management, or?
I called the police on multiple occasions. They would show up. They would go up to her apartment, and she would just not answer the door because I could hear everything.
Okay.
And at first I was calling the police because I was afraid. It sounded like someone was being hurt. Eventually, I come to find out she lived by herself.
Up there?
Up there,
Okay.
yes. Thomas occasionally would visit with their son, but he did not live in the apartment.
Okay.
And anytime anybody would
How
ever
old is their son? Like a child or a grown-up?
At that time, he was, I think, about 6, but I don't know for
Okay,
sure
so we're talking
exactly
about a
how
child.
old.
Okay.
Yes, yes. On one occasion, I actually went upstairs to confront them because it was very loud again, and she had shoved them out of the apartment so quickly that the child left his shoes behind and had to go back and pick his shoes up from the apartment.
So you eventually moved from there. What year do you move from there?
I moved out in March of 2018. I got a job in Massachusetts and moved to Massachusetts.
Okay, so you rent it out and your tenant enters there when?
May. 2018.
Okay, I presume you didn't tell the tenant about the noise problem.
I did not.
All
no.
right, so now the tenant moves in and the tenant calls you and says, what gives, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Within 3 weeks of moving in.
And did you lose the tenant?
I did.
When did the tenant move out?
November 30th.
Okay, did you
was
have a
their last
one-year
day.
lease with that tenant?
I did have a
But you
one-year
let them
lease.
out of the lease
I
over the
did,
issue?
yes,
All right,
and I
so
have
the
a
tenant
copy of
moves
the
out
lease.
November 30th. All right, so what you're suing for is from the time the tenant left until the end of the tenancy.
Yes.
Do you have any proof of the reason why this person left? In other words, do you have emails, texts where they're complaining about stuff?
Yes, I have a letter from them stating why they needed to come out of the lease, but I also have a bunch of text messages. I have videos that they have sent me.
Okay. Let me ask you a question. First of all, who lives there?
Irina,
Irina does. Okay. And what is your relationship to Irina?
I'm her husband.
Okay. So you two are separated?
We have 2 residences, so
So, but you live in one and she lives in another. I call that separated. I don't know what that means. Why does she live separately from you if you're husband and wife and you're not separated?
private reasons.
Well, those private reasons have become very public now, haven't they? Because you're being sued over what's going on in the apartment. What is going on in the apartment? They say that you're very noisy up there. Are you? What's going on?
I was mad.
You were mad at what?
I don't remember something.
What do you do when you get mad? I don't have anyone else to ask. You came here. This is a lawsuit. I have to ask you these questions even if they're uncomfortable. Can you tell me what it is?
Because one of the neighbors made me mad.
What neighbor made you mad?
Some of them.
Okay, how did they make you mad?
They ignore me. They don't communicate with me.
Say it again? They don't communicate with you.
Because I feel abandoned.
Who do you feel abandoned by?
No, I just feel lonely.
Do you have a child?
Yes,
How old's your child?
I'm 10 years old.
Who does the child live with?
He was with me.
What's going on? Just tell me what's going on.
She likes to have her space, so we give it to her.
She likes to have her space to do what with, though? Because that's where the problem lies.
And, we're not the only ones in the building who had problems with this woman.
Okay.
The superintendent in the building, who was very well liked, for some reason didn't get along with her, so she had him fired. Now, he's got a wife and kids, and he felt very unjustly bullied by this woman, fired from his position, which he depended on to support his wife and his kids.
Okay.
Because they felt because she was on the board, she was on this big power trip, and she felt she could control everyone and tell people what to do and what
So
to
do you
pay.
do you feel that her complaints are made up, or that?
Well, I wasn't there. She say a lot of what she's complaining about the noise. I wasn't there to say how loud the noise was.
Are you ever there?
Yeah, I am there sometimes.
How long have you two been married?
11 years.
11 years. How did you two meet? How did you two meet?
Oh, we met online.
Online? Whose voice is that? The tenant's or
The
yours?
tenant.
What's going on? Is that your voice or someone else's voice? Does she have mental health issues?
No.
Well, then what's going on? Because it's like Linda Blair and The Exorcist up there, and people have a right to not have to listen to that. What is going on up there?
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So if somebody lives in an apartment, are they required to keep noise down more so than, say, if they lived in a house, a freestanding house?
Yeah, probably a little more than a house since the walls are closer.
But do you have like a legal obligation to keep it down because you have neighbors?
I would think so, yes.
What do you say?
I would think so, because you have to keep in mind other people that are also living in the
That's courtesy, but do you think legally you're required to do that?
I would think so, yeah.
Okay, we'll find out going inside the courtroom.
Yes, sometimes I bang I was mad.
There's a reason that
at
she lives
neighbor.
there. What is going
But
on?
not on Crystal, not her, someone else.
That is you over and over again. That is whoever's living there over and over and over and over again, not on one day, but on many days. Heaven help her if she found another tenant to torment. Would you want to live listening to that, scaring you like that? Would you want to live that way? She wants you to pay for her loss of income. She has a right to enjoy her property. What I'm listening to is not some crazy condo commando who is abusing her power. It is actually someone who can't live like that. You know, that's not okay. You can't do that to other people. Why don't you take her to live with you? Okay, there's a reason, right? Well, you can't put that on someone else. We have a problem. You've lost her, the renter. And what's she gonna do past that date? Then what do you do?
Right.
At one point, someone called the police, and what happened?
They showed up, and eventually an ambulance pulled up, and they took her away in the ambulance after quite a fight to get her in the ambulance.
Was she committed that time?
It was quiet for 3 days.
I'm unaware of that situation.
I have texted him.
Let me just tell you
occasion.
something. I know you did. I've seen the hundreds of texts and emails that you sent to him. What you need to do is have a condo meeting and just...
Oh, I've tried.
Right, but
Yep.
the condo board is there for the members, for the condo owners. They don't need to be afraid and be impotent, all right?
Yeah.
Either it gets a solution through medication, through supervision, through something, or he moves in there, or he doesn't move in there. He's not crazy. He don't want to live there. He can't also let you be subject to it. You see?
Yes. Thank you.
I rule in favor of the plaintiff and the statutory maximum of $5,000.
Thank you, Judge.
So without question, the plaintiff prevails. She gets $5,000, which is what she was suing for. Mr. Mahoney, if you'll step over here, Ms. Mahoney. It's obvious they want to get you out of there. And you're not talking very much either. What do you think about what you just heard here in the courtroom? Do you have anything to say?
I feel shame. It's because I feel abandoned and lonely. Because everyone ignored me. All neighbors. They don't talk to me.
So what are you doing making all that noise? What do? You bang on the floor with what? Can you tell me?
I don't remember much.
You don't?
I think like that, maybe.
Just snapping
I
on
don't
the-
remember.
Do you understand how unpleasant you make it
Yes.
for other people?
Yes, I feel shame.
Well, I feel sorry for you. Thank you very much. Maybe you can help.
Well, there are other people who've been victimized by this woman, so it's not all.
Well, look, it's pretty obvious. She's making it very unpleasant. Okay, thank you very much, folks. You must sign some documents on your way out of the courtroom? Okay, and it's that way.
I'm sorry.
Thank you very much.
What should I do now?
Go with your husband.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, Ms. Doherty,
Yes.
I think everybody understands why you filed the lawsuit.
Yes.
But as the judge pointed out, this is not the end of the situation.
No, I am going to be emailing the board and having them take action as quickly as possible. I mean, I dealt with the situation for 3.5 years while I lived there.
Yep.
And thought I would be able to rent it, but it just did not work out. So
Can't believe that everybody isn't jumping up and down to get around. Okay, all right. You have an impotent board.
apparently,
As the
yes,
judge put it.
yes, even when I was president, we were.
Thank you so much. Good
Unfortunately.
luck to you.
Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
Thank you. Harvey, that's amazing case. What do you think?
Well, I got to say, the Homeowners Association can easily deal with this, Doug. I mean, the bylaws of these associations all deal with noise and other disruptions. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
This is the plaintiff, Alyssa Wells. She says she moved in with her daughter and her boyfriend. And let's just say things didn't go so well between the three of them. She ended up moving out a short time later. Her daughter held her belongings hostage. And when she retrieved them, the defendant maliciously broke her TV. She can't believe she has to sue her daughter in court for the $200 the TV cost. But hey, Money is money. This is the defendant, Tony Dickinson. She says her mother moved from Asheville, North Carolina to live with her in New York, and she transported her TV on the bus with her. The TV was damaged on the bus ride, and she's trying to blame her and her children for ruining it. Her mother even made death threats to her boyfriend, so now they have a problem. That's why they're here today. She's accused of making mommy mad.
All parties, please use your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff moved in with her daughter and her boyfriend, and it was a mess. But the defendant says her mom was so bad, she made death threats to her boyfriend. It's the case of the mother of all threats.
Thank you, Douglas. Alyssa Wells, you are suing Tony Dickinson for $200. Tony is your daughter?
Yes, sir.
Okay. According to you, she broke your TV. All right, talk to me. What's going on?
I was in Asheville.
Okay.
And,
were you living there?
I moved there.
Okay.
And we made an agreement. She said, Ma, if you would come back to New York, help me watch the kids while I'll work and save money. I agreed to that. And I left December the 1st. I got to...
How did you leave?
I left on the Greyhound.
Okay.
And I left on the 1st, got to New York on the 2nd.
Okay.
While I was on the bus, I called Mr. Green.
Who is he to you?
He's my boyfriend.
Okay. And where does he live? Asheville or New York?
New York.
Had you broken up, or why'd you leave him? Why were you in Asheville?
We was already separated and everything.
All right, got it.
I wanted to try to start a new life, but it didn't work out.
Okay.
And I
came back to the old one? You wanted the old one back? Apparently. So go ahead. Go ahead.
I asked him, could he come and meet me at the Greyhound bus station? He did so. When he met me and everything, he brought the shopping cart. We put the TV into the shopping cart.
Wait. All right, so this TV is a TV you brought with you from Asheville?
Yes. I brought
How did you bring it?
I carried it. I wrapped it.
You carried the TV from Asheville?
Yes, but I
wrapped... On a Greyhound bus?
Yes.
From North Carolina to New York?
Yes. I wrapped it before I left.
With what?
I had the original plastic, and then I took one trash bag, put it from the bottom, and took another trash bag, and I put over it, and I pulled it tight and everything, and then I had my blanket wrapped around it, and...
So you had it on your lap?
No.
What about the person next to you?
I set the TV on my feet, but it was a person beside me on the Greyhound because it was so full that day that I left.
So it's in their feet too?
No. The way I was sitting was sort of like on the outside, but I had the TV more the outside. But
so you had the TV blocking the people's path?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And nobody said, lady, get your TV out of the hall?
No.
Did anybody run into the TV while walking back and forth?
No.
All right, what happens? You get to your daughter's house and what happens?
No.
You go to his house first.
When I get to his house, I unwrap the TV to make sure that it was playing properly the way I left Asheville.
Okay.
It was playing properly. When I left his house, I traveled again with the TV to Miss Dickinson's house. I took the TV into her daughter's room, unwrapped it, played it, it was fine. We got into a confrontation.
Who did?
Her boyfriend and I.
Okay, what was the confrontation about?
Because he was drinking.
Okay.
I pushed him, told him to get out my face and everything and stuff like that, and everything, because he was drinking. I was in the bathroom when he come through the window. That's how the whole thing started.
Does he live there? Mm-hmm. How did he come through the window?
So we both left our keys in the house. I started calling her. She was on the phone, on the toilet, on the phone that we're calling. So when he climbs through the window, he sees her on the phone. He's like, we've been calling this phone so you can let us in. Why are you not answering? So I'm standing outside. I hear the two of them yelling.
But hold on one second. Why is everyone so upset?
So him being upset is deeper than what she's saying right now.
Right,
The reason
that's
why he's
gotta be,
upset
because it
is
sounds pretty hostile.
initially she sat there and she just told you that our agreement with her living here, and it's even further than that. The original agreement with her living with me was that she could stay with me for free in exchange for her to watch my children, and that she did not deal with him because he's caused a lot of crazy issues in my life. I don't want to deal with it. So she agreed to that. So her even saying that he picked her up at the bus station is just like,
oh, you're talking about
news to
him.
me.
So the agreement was that
She
this
can-
gentleman would
cannot
not.
have-
Okay.
She has nothing, because she told me, I don't deal with him anymore. It's not going to be that. Don't worry about it. I'm like, it's too much drama. I don't want to deal with it. If you deal with him, you cannot live here.
Okay.
And you have to watch the kids. She agreed. The day after she came in to my house, she goes, I'm going to leave for a night. She was gone for 4. Even though when she walked through my door, her initial statement was, I will watch the kids for 3 weeks, and then on the 4th week, I want just the weekend off. Then you disappear in the middle of the week for 4 days.
So who
While
watched
this
your
was
kids?
happening, my boyfriend.
Okay, because what?
Because he had a few days off.
Okay.
So since he had some days off, she just left without saying anything. In that process, the day before she left, like when she first got there, he goes in and cleans out my son's room and then gives her her own room, in which we put the TV inside the room. So we closed the door, and the door stayed closed for the remainder of the time that she got there. She then shows up 4 days later, and even she knows that when she got there, nobody was messing with her TV. The TV was completely off. I couldn't have even used it. So when she came back the next day, and I explained to her, about 4 days later, I explained to her the situation about not being able to use the TV. She's like, oh, no problem. I'll show you where the remote is. Then she left with me at that point. So no one but me and her knew where the remote was. And I'm not there, nor is she. The very next day, right before she got there, I turned on the TV and I seen the lines, and me and her had a whole conversation about this on the phone while I was walking to work. Right? And I'm like, no one touched your TV, no one dropped it, no one moved it. So I then told her that she could have the other TV that's in my son's room. And literally at that point, everything with me and her was perfectly fine. She was still living in my house. We had no drama. She never asked me to pay her for anything at all at that point. I come home, everything's fine. So that Saturday, I go to meet up with my boyfriend to go pay the rent, and then we had some drinks afterwards, okay? So when we leave from having the drinks, this is what creates the situation we're in right now. So when we leave from having the drinks, after the whole situation with the phones I told you about, once he comes through the window.
Where are you when he comes through
I'm
the window?
outside, because it doesn't make any sense for both of us coming through the window.
Okay, yeah,
so,
of course not.
Yeah.
That's why you keep him around, so he can go through the window. Go ahead. Right. Uh-huh.
So anyway, when I hear them both coming down the hallway, I hear them yelling at each other. And it wasn't quiet conversation. I could hear it from outside.
Yeah.
So when I walked in, they're yelling. I'm like, you guys can't be yelling at each other, blah, blah, blah. He was like, oh, well, you're here using us, like for a place to live for free because you don't do what you're here to do anyways. She goes to walk down the hallway. I'm with her. He's behind me. She then turns around and then shoves him, right? And then walks out the door. So me and her had a conversation. She was like, you have to decide right now it's me or it's him.
Well, that's not going to go well.
Well, I made my choice.
Of course you did. All right,
I'm
so
gonna
you told her
decide
you
the
got to
person
go.
that's- Exactly, bye.
And where'd she go? To his house?
Right, but mind you, she doesn't talk to him, but yeah.
Okay.
So anyway.
Let me ask you a question. Did you two get along before this?
Me and my mom?
Yeah.
It's been a chaotic relationship since
Right, so why
day
did you
one.
think this would be a good idea?
Because
You
it's
were
like-
kind of desperate for good childcare?
It wasn't even good job. Okay.
Well, that's my point. You
No, it
know
wasn't
your
that. It
mother.
was like-
wait
it
a
was
minute, but
more-
wait a minute. That is exactly my point.
So if you have two able-bodied people who aren't desperate, is it a good idea or a bad idea for a mother to move in with her daughter and her boyfriend?
I think it's a bad idea for them to move in together. It's hard for two adult women to live in the house together.
Oh, adult women? Is that the problem? Ooh, what do you say?
Oh, absolutely not. I like my privacy. So yeah, as a young
Okay,
person.
that's a fair point. What do you say?
I think it's a bad idea. I think everyone needs their privacy, especially if you're in a relationship, especially if they're able-bodied also.
Okay, we will find out going inside the courtroom.
You have her come back from Asheville with this deal. Why did you think this deal would work out? You know your mother better than anybody.
Because she's my mom. At the end of the day, it's like I've done this with her my entire life, and every single
So
time
why
I
do
go
you
into
keep
it, because I just
The
hope that it'll be
definition of
different.
insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result.
I guess it's just I can't help that. It's like she's my
You
mom.
can.
I still love her
You
regardless.
can have a good relationship with your mom that doesn't involve either of your men.
It's just
and then you
more
guys just
like-
have a separate relationship.
But it never had to turn into that. And what she's not he.
But it has, hasn't
But it turned into this because I went
So
into
she
this
says you
thinking-
broke her TV. Did you break her TV?
I did not break her TV, nor did my kids break her TV.
Okay, now this is the TV in question, correct?
Yes.
Is there any physical damage to the TV?
Yes.
Let me see.
It's broken 3 spots.
It has to be plugged up.
No. I know there's damage inside. I meant physical damage outside.
No, just inside.
Right. Go ahead. You can plug it up. It's a plug right behind you.
I also told her to send the TV through the mail instead of bringing it on the bus. She said, oh, it costs too much. I don't want to do that.
So I want to carry it and put it on the ground, put it on the floor of the Greyhound bus. But you or your kids broke her TV.
That's what she said.
Right. How do you plan on proving?
I have a receipt right here showing.
No, you're suing her. That means that you as the plaintiff who come into court have the burden of proving by preponderance of the evidence that what you're saying is true. She did you wrong. She broke your TV. How are you planning on proving that?
Yeah. Because I left the TV in her care. After she...
You mean in your room that you moved into?
Yes.
You plugged in a TV, and now your TV doesn't work. How are you going to prove that somebody in that house broke your TV?
She also took the...
Yeah, there's some internal damage to that.
Definitely.
It was hit right here, and...
Says who? Says you?
Marks. Yes, says me.
Oh, no, I do feel the hit.
Now the TV's completely damaged.
Of course it is, sweetheart. The problem is that you want her to pay for it because you're mad at her because you had a fight with her boyfriend, okay? But I have to decide whether this is more likely happened on a bus ride or in a shopping cart, or whether it happened when it was on the floor with nobody touching it in someone's house. In fact, in someone's house, in your house, because you were living there at that point, and that was your room that they gave you, and you put your TV there, and somehow you want me to order her to pay for the TV because you got him talking in your ear. I don't see it. You haven't proven it, and my verdict is for the defendant.
I hope you're satisfied.
Do you see that?
You didn't win in your case. Obviously, you couldn't prove your case. What do you think about what just happened?
At this time, it really doesn't matter. She's still my daughter, and I will always love her. I will love my grandkids, and I wish her the best in life.
Are you still in the same? Are you still here?
I still live in New York and everything. And
you still take care of her kids?
No.
There's no communication now,
No.
right? It's over.
No, it's done.
Well, that's a shame. Sorry about that. What's all this between the two of you?
She's the biggest lie I have ever seen. She's a thief.
What'd
She's
she do?
Everything.
Well, that's another case, then. If you want to accuse her of
She's
that.
a big liar, and she's just cruel.
Well, obviously, there's more to this story than we've heard here in court. Miss Dickinson's coming out now. He's having his words with you.
He's okay.
He's okay?
He'll be all right. He needs a nap.
All right. Your mom moved out, right?
Thank God.
On
Imagine
her
if
own,
she
or
still
did
lived there.
Or did you kick her out? A little bit of both?
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
You know, she said to choose, so I did.
Okay, very good. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Okay, Harvey, what do you think?
Okay, I mean, Doug, the plaintiff needed more than a theory or a motive. There's got to be some proof that the defendant damaged the TV, and there was none. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
This is the plaintiff, Michael Evans Sr. He says he hired the defendant to fix his car. And when he told him he wanted to be present while he made the repairs to the car to make sure he was on the up and up, the guy wasn't happy and started yelling at him. He decided this wasn't the right man for the job, so he told him to forget about it. Now the lousy mechanic's refusing to return the $200 he gave him, so he's suing him for $1,000 today. This is the defendant, Demetrius Calloway. He says he works out of his garage at his house, and he found $195 worth of parts for the plaintiff's car. The plaintiff found the parts for $27 cheaper than he did. He got mad at him, demanded his money back, and here they are. Bottom line, he's ready to do the job, but the plaintiff sued. He's accused of charging too much.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff hired the defendant to fix his car, but wanted to watch so he didn't get ripped off. The plaintiff says the defendant got pissed off and won't return his deposit. The defendant says he'll do the job, but no refund. It's the case of you're a real dipstick.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome,
Michael Evans Sr., you are suing Demetrius Calloway for $1,000, $200 of it money you paid to him, and $800 for inconveniencing you and threatening you. What's going on here?
So I had contacted him in October.
You contacted him in October for what?
About fixing my car.
Okay.
But I didn't get the money until December.
In order to pay him to hire him to fix your car?
Right.
Okay.
I told him what was all wrong with it. I needed camshaft sensors, my power steering pump replaced, and my dipstick holder for the transmission. So he told me how much he would charge me. He was like $200. Comes over, he looks at it, I give him the money. Now,
You don't deny that you got $200, right?
Not at all.
Okay, all right, go ahead. He doesn't deny it.
See, in the text messages, he was saying, well, you ain't got no proof that I gave you money.
Okay, I'll see that and I'll get a flavor of that in a minute, but go ahead. Okay, wait, don't stare. Hey, look, oh, no, you don't. Who is the girl next to you? You're his what? What is she to you?
I used to date her mother.
Okay, I want you to listen very carefully to me. When I walked into this courtroom, I don't miss a beat. And I watched you staring him down, and I saw, how old are you?
17.
The 17-year-old have better wisdom than you and touch your arm and try to get you to stop. Now you just did it in front of me. Don't do that. That doesn't help your case. Okay, so go ahead. So what happens?
So we set up for the 3rd of January. When I text him to see if we were still on, he informs me that he's pricing the parts now. And so when I called him back, I said, well, I found the parts, and he was like, well, his part, like the fuel pump, he said he found it for $195. I found it for $127. Then he said the sensors he had found for like $88. I found them even cheaper than that.
Okay.
So then he proceeds to tell me, oh, well, you're trying to save yourself some money. You should just use my parts. I'm like,
I'm sorry, can we get to where, did you end up buying the parts?
Yes.
All right, so what date do you buy the parts?
That day, they just,
okay, so you buy all the parts. So now it's January 3rd, you have all the parts, and then do you bring them to him?
No.
Why? What happened?
The parts had to be ordered. So I text him back to tell him that the parts wouldn't be in till 2 o'clock. So he tells me that 2 o'clock is too late, that he wouldn't be able to do it until Saturday.
This is on January 3rd, which is a what?
A Thursday.
A Thursday. Okay, so that doesn't sound so unreasonable. So what happened?
Because I had an interview, a job interview that Friday. So me not being able to drive to my interview, I ended up missing it.
Why didn't you just take public transportation to the interview?
Because there's Cleveland public transportation are terrible. The bus
but people use it.
Yeah, people use it, but the bus drivers are real nasty with people. Okay. And I've been in altercations.
You didn't really have to miss the interview. You could have made it. You just, all right. So what happens then?
I told him Saturday wasn't going to work. He was like, well, I don't know what to tell you. I'm like, well, just give me my money back. We set up a date for Tuesday the next week. So Tuesday comes.
Wait, what's the Tuesday date for?
For him to give me my money back.
Okay.
So then Tuesday comes, he tells me, oh, you'd did better getting the work done by me and paying for my parts because I don't have the money to return to you. At that point, I said, look, I'm not finna argue with you. I'm just gonna file a small claims case against you.
So what's your version of how things went down?
I don't remember all these dates, but I could tell you exactly what went on. I was never to turn him down from doing the work. I always was telling him we could do the work, but his times didn't match up with mine. So he wanted his money back, and I couldn't give him the money back. I said, you'll be better off getting the work done from you because I don't have the money. I just had Christmas and all this. So I don't have the money. All my money went to my kids.
Right, but you were taking, that was money that was for labor for work you hadn't performed
for labor.
yet. So that's kind of on you that you spent the money.
Yeah, it was labor that I thought I was going to do.
Right.
And bring the car to
What was this about parts and who was going to pay for the parts?
With the parts.
Your pricing on the 3rd was X and his was X minus what?
His was $27 cheaper.
Okay, so he wants to, that's $27 he worked for, so he wants to keep it in his pocket. Who cares?
Right.
Whatever, whether it's 27 or 1,027, it's his money. So he decides he's going to buy the parts.
Right.
But what was the problem with finish?
We had an appointment for 12.
On Thursday.
I said, I can get the parts now at 12. He said, I can get them for cheaper, but I can't get them to 2 o'clock. I'm like, that's too late.
That's too late to do the work today. I can still do the work on Saturday.
I can still do it on Saturday. Well,
Okay.
Saturday too late. I can't do Saturday. You just going to get my money back. I said, well, I ain't got the money right now. I can pay you when I get it. Well, I'm just going to file a lawsuit. I said, go ahead, file a lawsuit. But I'm still willing to do the work. But then that's when he started texting me. You, your mama, your brother, your sister, your kids.
Do you have the text, Sue?
Yeah, I got text on my
phone. Let me see the text. Everybody.
And also, in his text messages, he talking about, and this is why, another reason, he was really trying to get over, because at one point, he said that he didn't have no work. Then another point, he's saying he has too much work to do. So that's why I say he was trying to get over from the beginning.
Okay, look, whatever stop, everybody stop. All these things don't matter to my lawsuit. Okay, that's kind of late. I have other cars to work on. So the plaintiff responds, so when will you be able to do it? You answer, not till Saturday. By the way, is work ever done on your car or no?
Yeah. I ended up having, because he would not return my money, I had to go and borrow more money to go take my van somewhere
When did you get it fixed? Is it a date that comes after January 5th or 6th?
Yes.
So why wouldn't you just go ahead and have it fixed by him?
I liken it to this. I go to McDonald's. You don't tell me what I can get and when I can get it. I'm paying for a service on a certain day. That's what I expect.
So then he asks, when will you be able to do the job? Because there's been problems. I definitely would want to watch the work get done. I don't do supervision. I think that both of you are like a pair of peacocks strutting your fancy feathers and trying to see quién es más macho. Honest to God, this is so stupid. I can't even begin to tell you how stupid this is. Why would anybody go back and forth like this?
That's what I said.
What are you talking about? You're guilty of it too.
Not at all.
You're like, well, I don't do supervised work.
Don't
Go file your case or wait until I get the money.
But answer this. If he sat and watched me, he don't know how to work on cars, so what is you watching?
I don't know.
I can make sure.
I normally wouldn't want anybody watching me do my work either. But by the same token, doesn't anybody want to avoid me? Doesn't anybody want to avoid going to court and just get this? And then both of you acting like children. ¿Quién es más macho? Back and forth and back and forth. Jeez. This is what he was talking about. I'll be waiting. Show the court a receipt. You don't have one waste of your time.
See, that's what I'm saying. He was trying to get over.
Totally trying to get under your... Don't stare him down. Don't look at each other. Don't look at each... Let's do this. Don't look at each other again while you're in my courthouse. In my courthouse, don't you look at him again. You just did it. You just did it. I'm looking at... You're doing it again right now. Don't... I want to know... Come on up here, honey. How is it that the person he brings to control him is a... Stop talking.
So it's kind of interesting. Does a person who owns a car, who brings it into a shop, have a right to watch as the car gets repaired so they don't get ripped off?
Of course. The customer's always right.
Well, the customer's not always right. And sometimes, you know, the repair shop says it's a distraction. I don't want to do it. What do you say?
I feel that you should trust somebody, like you should employ somebody that you should be able to trust with your car, so I don't think they have a right.
They don't have a right. Who's the tiebreaker?
Probably the customer, just because it is their car, so I think they have every right to.
Okay, fair point. Going inside the courtroom.
I just know him. I knew him like for half of my life because him and my mom been together on and off and stuff, so I know how he is.
So you thought it best if you come?
I'm like, calm down. And I'm here because I just saw him give him the money when he went to go look at the van, that's all.
She made that up too. I don't even know her at all. But Your Honor, it went nowhere and I said I wasn't gonna do his work.
Well, he doesn't want you to do the work now because you say things like, you stare him down in court and you say things like, he brought a little girl with him. Yeah. Like, you know, now I'm worried about putting you two together. So let me tell you how I see this, okay? I see that at some point, over saving $27, it might have been foolish on his part. However, who breached first is kind of so thin here because I think what really happened is this still could have happened on a day after the Saturday, and then it wasn't because everybody's playing ¿Quién es más macho? And now look at you. Now you got a woman deciding which way it's gonna go. Maybe I'll posse with my 17-year-old cohort over there. and figure out what I'm gonna do. I actually know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna undo this contract. I'm gonna find that there's no meeting of the minds on the timeliness of it, and therefore I'm gonna order you to return the $200 to him. You're not gonna get $800 for inconvenience and threatening, but you are gonna get your $200 back plus your court costs. That's my verdict. Good luck, folks.
All right, both sides, hold on, please.
So the judge, in effect, undoes the contract. Mr. Calloway, if you'll step out here, you got to give him back the $200.
Yeah.
Do you agree things kind of got out of hand?
Yeah, it did.
A little crazy?
Yeah, I didn't mind giving him $200 back, but it was going to be on the timely when I have the money.
Yeah.
It ain't. He came to court like I was trying to keep the $200, and that wasn't even the case.
You just didn't have it at the moment.
Yeah, and I didn't have it at the moment. I was still willing to do the work.
Yeah. All righty. Well, let's hope something like this doesn't happen again.
Right.
I'm sure you've learned a little bit from this. All right. Thank you very much. Okay. Mr. Evans, you're going to get it back.
Talk.
You don't want to talk?
No.
You don't have to talk.
I just don't. Judge ain't my friend. I don't appreciate her playing with me and talking and all. No, and
Yeah,
all
but
of
you
the
found
stuff
she gave you your money back.
Yeah, I still don't. Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Be good. Goodbye. Harvey?
Doug, the judge mentioned meeting of the minds. What that means is both parties have to have the exact same idea about what the contract is. Here they did not, so they didn't have a meeting of the minds. There was no contract, and that's why the plaintiff got the deposit back.